having me. Super excited to be here.
Rainbow Six is back, man.
Yes.
I'm totally stoked. Anyone who knows me knows I've been a big Rainbow Six fan for a while, and you got to close the conference with an announcement of this. So how excited were you guys, first and foremost, to talk about Siege?
Team has been super excited. I mean, we've been holding this for a while, and we really are super pumped to come out here and show what Rainbow Six is back. The father of tactical shooters is back, and now it's amazing to be here.
And just that, tactical shooter. This game is a tactical shooter. It's not really trying to be anything else. It's taken Rainbow Six to its roots, correct?
Yeah, first-person tactical shooter. We're going back to the roots, going back to things like Raven Shield, going back to the very first Rainbow Six games. So it's really a throwback to those titles.
Okay, now let's, gamers who were not familiar with those titles have been introduced to a lot of different types of shooters. More often than not, very action-focused shooters. Talk about the pacing in your game. Talk about the structure of your game and how it actually now stands out from the crowd.
What we're showing today is we're showing a 5v5 hostage game mode you're seeing right here. So the main thing of what we're showing, what separates us from the rest, is the pacing is a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical. In the beginning of the press conference, you saw a planning phase. Players were actually planning their attack. They spawned as a drone, and were, like you see right here, they're as a drone, droning throughout, communicating together, seeing what they see, what are the enemies doing. They plan out their attack, so they go here, they decide maybe to go in the parking lot area, change their tactics, and then the rest of it, we want slowly go into the house, make sure you work together as a team, because the pillars of the game is tactics, team play, and tension. We want to focus on those pillars in Rainbow Six.
Absolutely. Now, the tension always came for me in this franchise from trying to get to that moment of communicating with your friends and really being able to plan and execute. So that is, as we're seeing right now, something that is going to be fundamental to this experience in Siege, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Communicating with your team, making sure you're working together as a unit. Rainbow Six has always been about counter-terrorist units. That's the fantasy of Rainbow Six. And so we want to make sure they're master the close quarters combat. They work together as a unit. They're all about unity. So again, going back to that tactics, team play, tension, really focusing on that core tenets of Rainbow Six.
Now, what are you bringing new to the table? Obviously going back to the roots of the franchise, but also an opportunity, especially on current gen platforms, to do some really cool stuff. We're seeing a breach happen right here.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? We've done that in the past, but how are things different, enhanced, or what is different in this iteration?
The major thing that's different, what we're bringing to the table, is this new asymmetrical gameplay we're calling Siege gameplay. It's in the name of the title, right? So what we did was we looked at the core tenets of Rainbow Six, which has always been about a confrontation between two opposing forces, Rainbow Six and their enemies. So you had Rainbow Six, which was always about attacking and breaching, and their enemies, which are always about fortifying and waiting for the oncoming assault of the attackers, right? So this is what the game's all about, attack and defense. It's all about asymmetrical gameplay of fortifying the area, anticipating the attack, with setting up barricades, barricades and wall reinforcements, and the rainbows are all about breaching. You see here they're breaking down barricades, they're moving throughout the house, trying to get to the hostage and extract it.
Now, Rainbow Six in the past has had, a lot of iterations, and when it went to Vegas, it was very, distinguishable about that experience. What can you tell us about the environments here that are going to lend themselves to the type of gameplay? We're seeing a lot of domestic type of situations here. Is the whole game going to take place in those types of scenarios, or what?
Well, no, we decided to go with the house scenario. Well, the main center of the experience and the asymmetrical gameplay that you see is the destruction system. We have a brand new destruction engine that really pushes it to next gen. And so when we were evaluating the type of situation, it's really going in that counter-terrorist unit fantasy of people are barricaded inside of a house, going in, dealing with a threat. So that's why we have the domestic area, and also blowing up a house is super cool to see. It's super cool. It adds to the gameplay. The destruction is at the center of the gameplay experience. So putting breach charges, exploding them, going for the house.
And how destructible are the environments? I mean, they're looking pretty damn destructible right now, but I mean...
It's a fully procedural destruction system, so it's based on the material. So when players place a breach charge on a wall, and a wooden wall, it'll break and explode just like wood. And when they take a shotgun and they blow holes in through a wall to actually get a new line of sight on their enemies, it'll break apart just like gyps. So it's a procedural destruction system, and it's the core of the experience.
And are you crafting your character throughout? Are you choosing a class out of the gate? Are you continuing to develop your character as you play? How does that work?
Well, character customization is, of course, a mainstay of the Rainbow Six franchise. We're exploring that and really working hard on showing what we have under the table. We're playing our cards a little close to the chest for players to see some things soon. But what we have right now is there's three things you can play as a breacher, a assaulter, and appointment on the attacking side. On the defender side, we have a trapper, protector, and a sentry. So these are the kind of the pre-alpha classes we have, but we're looking forward to showing some new things soon.
Gadgets obviously play a role as well. What were we looking at there? And is that app currently available in the App Store?
What you saw here, we receive a breach charge. A breach charge you play on the wall, so asymmetrical. So the attackers have certain gadgets all about destruction and stuff, and you have the defenders. They're all about placing deployable shields. They have to get to place barbed wire, which slows down attackers. So you see a floor breach here. Checking outside, what teammate just got taken out. So you got destruction versus the fortification, going back to the base gameplay, the asymmetry of the Siege gameplay.
Now that we're seeing multiplayer, but there is a single player component to the game, correct?
Yes, Rainbow Six will always is a master of single player, co-op, and multiplayer. So there will be a single player and co-op. We're gonna show that off to the world very soon. We just want to get the really awesome multiplayer.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen so far, you've mission accomplished.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Andrew. We appreciate you stopping by. Looking forward to seeing more from Rainbow Six later on. So let's go and see
It's on TV right now.
Is it right now?
All right, well, thank you very much, Daniel. Steve is making a stronger play for games on the big
Dude,
screen.
sit down.
Inbox project. Here to tell us more is Frank Azer.